What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JBsports, back again with another one. O.J. Simpson passed away Wednesday. Reports came out this morning, a day later, that he had passed away. A lot of people are saddened by this news, and a lot of people are happy about this news. Yours truly, myself, I'm saddened by this news. You know, you're looking at a guy that was a top 5 running back of all time in college and in the NFL. He's one of the greatest collegiate players of all time. He also was one of the greatest NFL players of all time. You look at the fact that he was on some bad teams in Buffalo, didn't win much, never won Super Bowl, but he carried those Buffalo Bills teams. When they took on their opponents, the opponents' game plan was to stop O.J. And O.J. was still able to produce in a big way, leading the NFL in rushing for several seasons. Was the first running back to gain 2,000 yards in a season, and that was during a 14-game season. As we know, in the NFL now, we have a 17-game season. And before that, we had a 16-game season. So he did it when the NFL was playing 14 games, 2,000 yards. When I look at the fact that this guy was a graceful runner, beautiful to watch on the football field. It was almost like he was gliding on the football field. This guy was a pure runner. When you just look at the best pure runner of all time, he's right up there with Barry Sanders. Now, I don't have Barry in my top 5. My top 5, I have Jim Brown, O.J. Simpson, Walter Payton, Earl Campbell, and Emmitt Smith. That's my top 5 of all time. I know they got some other guys that you can make an argument for. You know, Franco Harris, Terrell Davis, Curtis Martin, John Riggins, Franco Harris, Tony Dorsett. You know, a lot of great running backs that you can make an argument should be in that top 5. But personally, that's my top 5 running backs of all time. With all that being said, O.J., when you talk about what he did on the football field, was supreme. He was one of the greatest and most gifted runners that ever graced the football field. Make no mistake about it. But when his name got attached to a double murder, double homicide, the opinions of O.J. changed in a lot of people's minds. They started saying that he was a wife beater. When you look at the phone calls that his current wife at that time, Nicole Brown Simpson, made to authorities saying that O.J. was about to beat her up again, was about to beat her down, and she feared for her life. So when her and her friend were found at her house, slaughtered by knife, a lot of people assumed that O.J. was behind it. I don't subscribe to that way of thinking. He was tried in the court of law. He was found not guilty, and I believe he was not involved in the killings of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. Now, does he have any kind of info on who perpetrated those killings? I do believe he do know who perpetrated those killings. I do believe that he's not revealing the identity of the true killer. And that's a sad, sad situation. That's a sad state of affairs to not let Ron Goldman family and Nicole Brown Simpson family know the killer of their loved one. I don't agree with that at all. But O.J. does know who did that. But I don't believe O.J. did that. I don't think he was capable of doing that. You look at the time frame of the murders, I don't believe he had enough time to do that and get back and clean himself up and get ready to jump on a plane to Chicago. I don't believe that was the case. Other people believe he did do that. Other people believe he's a cold-blooded killer. It was what you call a jealous rage, and he went in there and killed Nicole and killed Ron because Ron was over there seeing Nicole and he didn't like that. And that very well could have been the case. I don't see it happening that way. O.J. was a guy, when you look at a workout video during the time or a little bit before those murders, he could barely move around in that workout video he had put out, you know, on video. He could barely move, man. He had arthritis in knees. He was a guy that when you watch him walk around, he had what you call a little hiccup in his giddy up. Just put it to you like that. So he was not a guy that was in great condition. Playing the running back position in the NFL, there's a lot of wear and tear. And he was no exception as far as that goes. He was a guy that was paying the price in the afterlife of a running back in the NFL. I don't believe he could committed those murders. You look at the fact that Ron Goldman had defensive wounds on his hands. He put up a fight. He's a guy that was an expert in either karate or taekwondo, whatever it was. He was an expert in the sweet science of karate, for the lack of a better word. So he's a guy that was an expert in that. So if OJ did commit the killings, he would have had some kind of marks and bruises on him, busted lip or something, not some little cut on his middle finger. I don't believe that would have just been the only injury he was sustained in a fight with Ron Goldman. Let me just say it like that. I do believe that his the killer of Ron and Nicole was somebody that was close to OJ. I'm not going to reveal the name of who I think did it, because this ain't what this video is about. This video is about a tribute to OJ Simpson. I want to ask this question on this video: is OJ Simpson a national treasure or a national disgrace? Let me know in the comment section what you think he is. I think he's a national treasure. I don't think he committed the crimes. The only thing I think he's guilty of is not revealing to Ron Goldman's family and Nicole Brown Simpson family who killed their loved ones. He knows who killed them. He was there at the crime scene after the fact. Let me just say it like that. After the fact, he was there. That's why his blood is at the crime scene. That's why they got blood at OJ's house. He was there. I ain't saying he wasn't there, but he was there after the fact. You get where I'm going with this? Got a phone call. He went over there after the phone call and saw what was happening and left and told the person that was close to him to leave, and he jumped on a plane to Chicago. That's what happened. I'm not gonna get into no details. Maybe I'll do another video and reveal who I think did that. I don't think OJ did that, but OJ did know who killed Ron Goldman and who killed Nicole Brown Simpson. It was one person. It wasn't no, some people say, it was a drug killing. She owed drugs. It was 2 or 3 people involved in that killing. It wasn't no 2 or 3 persons involved in this killing. It was one person. One person. And a much younger person than OJ. Let me just say it like this. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section about OJ Simpson passing away at the age of 76. I used to watch a lot of his videos on Twitter. He'd be introducing himself on Twitter as, "Hey, Twitter world," and he'll give his opinion on different subjects, particularly in the NFL. That's what a lot of his videos are about, NFL. But every once in a while, he'll do a video talking about some things going on outside of NFL. He'll give his Twitter followers his opinion on several different topics. And I used to kind of like to watch OJ give people his expertise. He was a fun-loving guy. A lot of people said that he turned his back on the black race. I think he did kind of lose himself, getting caught up out there being OJ and not being a black man, but being a man that was a guy that was accepted by all races. I think he kind of got away from his true self, and he got a prime example and a wake-up call when this trial was going on, that you just a black man. These white folks don't care nothing about you. They believe you got away with, or you trying to get away with killing 2 white people. And they looking at it as a fact that the LAPD saying you did it and the prosecution saying you did it. You got all this blood that they say that's leading from the crime scene to your house, this, that, and the third, and they believe you did it. Them same people that loved you when you was in those Hertz commercials. That loved you when you was scoring touchdowns for the Buffalo Bills, and before that scoring touchdowns for the University of Southern California Trojans. They love you. But as soon as they see these charges charged against you, they believe you, they look at you in the same light they look at a lot of other black people. Think you are always a violent person. Think you are always angry. Think you are always the type of person that'll do something that's very, 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 very damaging, very, very, very savagely. And that's exactly how they looked at you once those charges was brought to you. Hopefully you learned the valuable lessons back then. And I think OJ, after that trial, was going to black churches speaking and stuff like that. He kind of reintroduced himself to the black race and kind of understood that you're a black man in a white man's world. And even though you got money, and that money ultimately got you off of a murder charge, that at the end of the day, people are always going to have preconceived notions on what they think black people are capable of and what they ain't capable of. And it was kind of, I know, it kind of surprised you, OJ, that the same people that loved you were the same people that turned their back on you once they learned that you was charged with those gruesome murders. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. Follow me on Facebook, JB Sports. Like, share, subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. And I holla.